Welcome to the bold analysis. I want to implore, in this channel I have, I think, some 4 contractors who really are members of this channel. And I want you guys to come close, maybe in the comment section, and give us a response. This is what is called a presidential dais in State House. This is the dais. This presidential dais is normally used when there are functions in State House. It's a makeshift. It's normally set up. Now, there is a shocking revelation, and that's why I want to ask the contractors. State House asked the Controller of Budget, Madam Margaret Nyakan'go, to approve 700 million for constructing State House presidential dais. This structure you are seeing here. And Margaret Nyakan'go declined. This is according to a report by the Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakan'go, is revealing that in the 700 million to cater for the construction of the modern presidential dais, that one was requested in October 2023, last year, using the Article 223. Article 223 is an article that allows government to spend money, then of course approved by Treasury, then spend money even without the approval of Parliament, or rather they will then do appropriation in Parliament later. And State House were explaining that the dais which is said to be constructed in State House Gardens will be used to host visiting presidents and other exclusive meetings. However, Nyakan'go declined to authorize, this is the legend, the allocation which was initially approved by Treasury. And then what happened later, this is what will blow your mind if you see then the 1 + 1 is not adding. State House proceeded with the project funded by its original budget after the COB put a halt to request. They went to the Controller of Budget, of course through the Treasury, seeking 700 million to build the presidential dais. Then the Controller of Budget looked at it and said, no, I won't accept that. And she refused. After she declined, they used the initial budget they had to continue with the project. So why were they going for the appropriation? In the report, it was noted that 600 million from the State House budget was allocated to the construction of non-residence building, that presidential dais. Additionally, 152 million was used for refurbishment of buildings and other infrastructure. It is a bit shocking that we are talking about buildings and structures in these corridors, while when we go to public, we are telling Kenyans about how we want to have priority spending and how we inherited a dilapidated economy. If Kenyans are being taxed, breaking their back to process, to get taxes for government, then this is kind of report coming. I think we are in a very dangerous place. Let's get to understand how did we even arrive here. The State House plan was to build the dais was necessitated by the planned renovation of Ruto's official residence, which is yet to be completed. Remember, we told you that State House was undergoing some renovation. Previously, the visiting presidents used to host joint press briefings alongside the president at State House entrance here. This is where those joint briefings used to happen. And this is the place that even Uhuru Kenyatta hosted President Barack Obama when Barack Obama visited the country in 2015. This is the same place that Uhuru Kenyatta stood with Obama. Then after that, they will then proceed inside for bilateral talks. Now, consequently, when Ruto constructed on that new renovation, there is a backroom office that Ruto uses, the presidential dais is supposed to be connected to a back office that Ruto has been using during these ongoing renovations. And you see this meeting that this is the place the meeting was held between the president and Martha Koome. This is the back office. This is where also Ruto hosted Polish President Andrzej Duda and other visitors. In this new office which is new design. So this is the office that is necessitating making the new presidential dais. It is not, let's just first argue first. There is the first argument, is it a priority? On priority is based on the president's taste and feeling. So maybe it is president's priority. And he's entitled to have a priority anyway. The State House is entitled to have a priority. Does it get to 700 million? That's a question. Maybe not. 700 million in mingi. Aish. Hey, I'm telling you, man. Our goose is cooked. This is the new presidential dais. You see this where this cabinet meeting is going on. This is the new presidential dais that was constructed. This is the place that Ruto held the cabinet meeting in January 24th, on 15th January. So this is what was constructed. And this is the structure where we had to spend 700 million. Questionable, suspect. But if you just think that is it, I want to give you a breakdown of whole of it, because 700 million was from State House. The control of budget is saying that Kenya Kwanza requested 51 billion as a supplementary estimate, and it was declined. It was declined. And I want to tell you why. Just get the breakdown here. The control of budget, according to Nation, rejected requests by State House, 18 ministries and state agencies to spend 47 billion under an emergency clause in the 6 months ended December, approving only 3.39 billion out of the 51 billion requested without employees' approval. Bas. And sasa Nyakan'go, I think Nyakan'go deserves a medal. The State House and ministries requested under supplementary budget 551 billion, not 551, 51 billion, and Nyakan'go approved only 3. Most of the 31 spending requests made between July and December 2023, according to her, Nyakan'go is saying there were non-urgent causes prompting the control of budget to approve just 6 of the applications. There were 31. Remember, you are allowed to spend on emergency. Okay? So there were 31 requests on emergency, and out of the 31, the control of budget only approved 6. Look at those requests. Among the requests that were not approved include one by State House to spend 400 million for purchase of vehicles, and another in October, not 700, there was 400 million for purchase of vehicles and 700 million in the construction of the presidential dais. Apart from your 700 July, October for constructing presidential dais, there was another request for another 400 in July the same year to buy vehicles. And Nyakan'go said no. She declined. The controller of budget also declined requests by 4 state agencies for cash to settle pending bills. These were 12.6 billion. Ministry of Energy in August requested 18.4 billion, stabilizing fuel prices for August and September, and another request of Ministry of Defense to spend 200 million for supporting operations in El Nino. Pesa yenyewe silikuwa inasanywa jamani. They were multi-agency. The request under Article 223 of the Constitution, which allows government agencies to access additional funding during the financial year if the budgeted amount is insufficient for a spending need for a purpose which no amount had been budgeted for arises. So let me give you some simple, just a simple understanding, explanation about this Article 223. Under that arrangement, the government is allowed to request for funding and spend money outside what is budgeted for, and the people that crafted Article 223 foresaw a situation where the country might be in emergency, needs some urgency. And by the rule number 1 is that you can only approve up to 10% of the budget. For example, we run a budget of 3.6 trillion last financial year. So we can only approve 10% of it under that Article 223. So you can take your calculator and calculate and ask, the 54 billion we've asked for, is it 10% of what had been proved the other end? And again, why did the control of budget decline? The answer is very big. We are in a problem. And if you think that we're just raising the alarm, there is another story that was written by Jared Kisero. Audit unmasks 6 billion suspicious payments disguised as capital subscriptions. I just want you to look at this. Auditors combing through invoices and payments and payment vouchers at the Treasury stumbled on suspicious payments totaling to a whopping 6 billion. The vouchers revealed that on December 28, 2022, hardly 3 months after President William Ruto came to power, the Treasury revealed 5 billion to Pan-African Cairo-based trade finance lender, Every Exim Bank, under unclear circumstances. According to these payments, vouchers, the money was for capital subscriptions and were being paid to purchase a total of 2,161 Class A shares in Pan-African Bank. Interestingly, and hardly 2 days later, that was 28th December, then 30th December, 2 days later, also under President Ruto's administration, the National Treasury released yet another massive amount of 752 million to purchase shares in Burundi headquartered regional bank, the Trade and Development Bank, TDB. So this is money that has been released allegedly to go into some sort of some project. But that is not really what is coming out. And I'm just wondering, what exactly are we dealing with? While this was happening, this year, just December, after she rejected those state house requests in December, Nyakan'go was arrested on a Monday in Nairobi on 4th December and driven to Mombasa to face what experts called trumped-up charges. It was disclosed that he was arrested in Nairobi on Monday 4th after being trailed by detectives. Nyakan'go said that officers told her she needed to record a statement at the Central Bank of Kenya, CBK, in Nairobi CBD. On reaching CBD offices, she never wrote a statement, but she was ferried to Mombasa at night by road. So you even see, probably the reason why she was sought after is because she declined these requests. we are treading a very dangerous route. We are treading a very dangerous route. And I want to say what I've always repeated. Our problem in this country is not how much we are collected. We have a big problem on expenditure. And if we are not going to fix expenditure, we are not going to fix this country. Those believing and projecting, despite of the executive projecting a very good picture on fixing the economy will be fixed if we fix our expenditure. Even as this was going on, the absorption rate of development money is low. When we are spending, we are asking money for refurbishing structures and buying cars. We demanded 47 billion and Nyakan'go only approved 3 billion. I think she deserves a medal. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our videos. I want to answer some two questions first. When you think, I've seen the report by auditors combing through payments and vouchers in Treasury and stumbled on some documents talking about that payment in December. Then what simply comes out here is the people that are leaking these details are actually the ones in the kitchen. So the kitchen is hot. I want to tell you, if there is something that William Ruto has always not wanted, it's a situation where state secrets, things happening are not known, because he knows that if media gets these stories, they will be blown out, and of course it will dent the image of government. But if Nyakan'go is coming out to say this is wrong, and I think give it to her. She said that even Uhuru Kenyatta, when she was working under Uhuru Kenyatta, she was working under duress. And this Article 223 knows no regime. It was abused even during Kibaki's time. It was abused even during Uhuru's time. And it is even being abused during William Ruto's time. What is even more worrying, that as we talk about, as we are having these problems of expenditures, we have surpassed our debt limit by 1.93 trillion. We have surpassed. Our debt limit is supposed to be around 10 trillion. We have surpassed it by some few trillions on top. So we really in a hole. As much as we're saying we are getting ourselves out of the hole, we are in a hole. I'm making some three observations around this. This Uhuru era smear campaign, that we found a dilapidated economy, we found dry coffers, is a cover-up. And look at what has been said there. We've talked about the 6 billion that Uhuru Kenyatta at least was spent in buying some shares in Telcom. Now we are being told about more than another 6 billion or so, 5 billion, for government putting up in some shares. And the experts are raising questions, auditors are raising questions that these are not very good looking figures. So these are the fellows that said we found dilapidated economy. We found dilapidated economy. We are spending money to buy vehicles, to refurbish houses, while capitation to counties, disbursement to counties is a nightmare. The MPs the other day were lynching the president in Naivasha because of CDF money. Surely. So we really need to do some internal introspecting. So Uhuru era smear campaign, those who will buy the story of found the depleted economy will do this country a disservice. Ruto's austerity measures in public was a big rhetoric. I remember the same year, the president said they are planning to save 300 billion. Austerity measures, planning to spend a lot of billions. 300 billion, it was never achieved. How could it be achieved? Is on the other side you want to save, implement some austerity measures, but on the other side you are leading in the plunder. And lastly, the Ruto sword on fighting corruption will just remain threats and intimidation as has been used. But I think the institutional discipline to fight corruption is waning. And that is why the fight against corruption cannot be won now. Because it needs a bit of that institutional discipline. But look at it. If the head of finance in a ministry reads this report in a newspaper, what stops him? What again is, you know, we are into a mess. Ladies and gentlemen, need to do some internal introspecting. Thank you.
Hi guys, so I'm so happy finally the February project is done. I know most of us have been talking about this. We did know it will come to fruition, but I'm in Mama Lucy and I've managed to get 13 out. Yes, I was planning for 7, but who knows, God has another way of doing his own things. That we managed to our to 13. And apart from that, we've also done some food stuff because, you know, these guys hawa mama wamekuwa hospitali for long na hawajakuwa wakifanya kazi. So what we decided is whatever has remained, we do some food stuff for them. And I'm just so happy that they are going home, wanted to reunite with the rest of their family. Some have been here for long, so I just want to say thank you on behalf of Bold Charity Network, my family, myself, and everyone. In whatever way you've come through this, nasema santeni sana. These women are out. Now I'll just give 2 or 3 chance. Waseme tu kitu moja. You can just say thank you. Tanzania huyu.
Tumeshukuru. Okay, my name is Oduor. Tumeshukuru kwa kuja kututoa huku. Tumekaa huku for long na the bill was too much yenye hatungeweza ku afford. But Bold Charity Network imekuja ikatutoa na tunasema ni asante.
Naitwa Teresia Wanjiru ama Mama Feva. Na nataka kuambia asante kwa sababu bili ilikuwa mob, singeweza kulipa, but kwa ajili ya Mungu ati mimi natoka. Asante, God bless you all.
Haya, huyu. Nani mwingine anaweza ongea? Wewe, sivyo? Sema kitu kama tu asante.
Mimi cha kuwashukuru ni kusema asante kwa Mungu. Tumekuwa huku for a long time. Kama mimi nilidischangiwa ndio 15. Nimeng'ang'ana, nikang'ang'ana, nikapata, nikalipa, nikaambiwa nirudi kwa ward. Sai I'm very happy. Niko out, nitaenda sasa kuungana na familia yangu. Asanteni sana.
Mimi naitwa Lydia Chelimo. Bili yangu ilitoka date 16. But singe manage kulipa, but court ameniwezesha nimetoka huku, nitatoka leo. Nimeshukuru sana na nimefurahi.
Yeah, so guys, that was it. I had to give you this confirmation that finally to manage, and may God meet you in the hour of need. I spent 2 days here listening to their stories, and their stories are a testament of how we need to come for the society. For all those who participated in this Bold Charity Network, this was our CSR for the month of February. Akimbarikiwe. We will do this next time. Asanteni sana, more happy than them. Asanteni. Sawa.